Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Habitat Issue Triage for the week of July 30th. I have this really nice bright blue bubble on the top right side of my screen that's telling me that Hangouts on Air is going away in 2 days. Uh, and while we are aware of that, we've been a little busy. So I don't know that we've actually decided on an alternative for doing public triage. We will figure something out, even if it comes down to just like recording a video call and posting it to the channel for people to be able to look at it afterwards. Um, and then not live streaming, or we'll find something that does the same thing. I don't really know, but uh, I'm just going to push that off to next week when that decision has to be made. So let's go ahead and hop in to uh, our triage here. I'm going to share my screen. There we go. Present that to everybody. And we don't have too many things this week. It looks like only 12 issues. We're going to go ahead and start with actually 6744. You know what? No. There's a bunch of core plans ones in here, and I don't know, without Scott on here, I'm hesitant to triage those. But let's start with 6744. We'll just see if Scott can join us. We'll come back to the other ones. I've not read this. I'll give everybody a second to read it. Yeah. So we've had some discussions around this, or at least like I think there's another issue that's open that's similar to this, that somebody was asking for a dry run mode, which is effectively like just make sure that I'm not sure how you would accomplish this, but the general idea is like make sure any network resources, any file system resources are available before you attempt to build. I guess it's especially a problem when you get like really deep into a build that runs like 40 minutes before it fails, especially if you're doing things late in the build process and you need to like, I don't know, do something with a network after you've got your artifact compiled and it took 20 minutes to compile the artifact and then you die because of a network dependency, that sort of thing. um, I'm not totally certain how much value there is in it, but I also feel like it's not necessarily the kind of thing that we would turn down if somebody wanted to work on it. I just don't know how you would even accomplish what's being asked for here.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm not entirely certain how feasible some of this is. I mean, to the extent that it's feasible, it sounds like a good idea. So maybe it's worth a bit of investigation just to see if that's something we can even do.
Yeah. I find myself wondering, how do you distinguish between something like network resource and a compilation failure? Like, and I guess for what's being asked for here, this is more specific to the package metadata. So this is probably more feasible than other dry run requests that have come through. Things like not having your package exports configured correctly, that should definitely be something that we can validate before running a build.
Maybe let's put this in the backlog then.
Yeah, I'm inclined. Anybody have any strong feelings on not doing that? No? Okay, I'll throw in the backlog. Let's go ahead and do that. And I'm going to add, I mean, it still needs more discussion. Plan build. No idea how hard that's going to be. I would assume there's going to be some shell. There might be some rust in there. And I wanted to put on here. Oh, how are we doing? Oh, right. I don't think we have. There we go. Help wanted. We'll put it under help wanted for now because I'm not certain if that's going to get any prioritization on the immediate. And let's put this into the backlog. All right, we're done. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. 6756 in the Habitat repo. Even Dana. Give everybody a second to read this one. I don't know how I feel about this.
It sounds reasonable to me.
Yeah. It seems like somewhat. I mean, I guess I would have to have a little bit more context on what their use case is, but this seems somewhat self-inflicted to me. That being said, if everybody else feels fine with it, I'm happy to just throw it in the backlog.
I guess the question is, I don't know how we do backlog here in terms of things that we think are reasonable, but kind of workarounds and might not be our highest priority. I mean, that kind of stuff tends to get lost, right?
Yeah, and often we'll like historically we'll just throw this in the backlog, and then as prioritization or like fix it Fridays, eventually somebody will get to it. But you know, so for triage, we mostly have kind of pared it down to just kind of trying to decide if an issue or a PR is something that we would accept versus would not.
Okay.
And I guess we probably would accept this. I don't know. I wonder why they're not just using the real origin signing key. Like, they don't have to upload. They could just use the real signing key, right? As opposed to generating one every time.
I don't know exactly. I think there's a lot of cases where we've been generating stuff. Some of the pipelines seem to generate stuff that is you want to like double guard against ever accidentally uploading, but it's in the same flow of artifacts and stuff.
Gotcha.
That makes a sense.
Okay.
I mean, I think there might be a little belt and suspenders if I understand their thinking here. You know, all right, we're generating this using the same pipeline as everything else, but for the love of God, please do not push this too.
Right. Yeah, that's probably some good context. Cool. Well, I mean, I can just I'm good with putting in the backlog, I guess. I think this probably needs more discussion. I think it's possible that the suggested kind of implementation might be the right thing. I think it's also possible that there may be some other way to solve this. I feel like it is a little bit of a foot gun to be able to have multiple keys per package based on like per build of that package. That to me sounds like a landmine, but
we do a similar thing in build component.sh. Is that correct? I'm looking at that where we make a temp directory and generate a fake key. But do we just get around it because there's only one key in that directory?
I'm guessing so, but that's inside our. Is that inside our release pipeline or our?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. In the release pipeline.
Yeah, I'm. I have feelings about that are probably not worth going into on this call. But that is the pattern that we have folks internally that are using that pattern, and we're using that pattern now too. And if it works fine, then we should support that use case. If it doesn't, then we shouldn't.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm happy for now. Let's just throw a needs discussion on it, and we'll throw it in the backlog, and then at some point this will definitely come up again, since our internal customers are going to want an answer to this. And I'll say we should probably have a larger discussion with the team around it. I'm guessing this is probably just with plan build where this would be a change. And I'm not going to put a difficulty label on it. There might be some Rust, there might be some shell. All right. All right. I don't know is there anybody worth like assigning to this who has some content? I guess not, since we don't have many people that are in on the plan build code right now. So I'll just assign this one to Dave. Not you, Dave, other Dave. All right. Cool. Let's go ahead and move on to 6760. Give everybody a second. Yeah. Well, that seems like a straightforward bug to me. Sweet. Let's go ahead and move on to Builder 1134. This is from this morning. We already know this is a bug. We already got people working on it. Those are the best. Just throw it in the backlog. And I think this is an exporter problem. And it might be related to the studio as well. Cool. Easy. And I think Scott is going to join us here so that we can run through the core plans issues. It's honestly like primarily the core plans issues are usually pretty straightforward as far as triaging them goes. Anytime I see an issue with the scaffolding, that's when I'm like a little bit hesitant to triage, mostly because scaffoldings are scary. Let's go ahead and pop that up, though. We'll get started. Core plans 2837. We'll just dive right in, and then if Scott joins us, great. And if not, that's also fine. Give everybody a second to read it. That's kind of a long one. Oh, yeah. These are good fixes. Pretty straightforward. I think these are all reasonable requests. I'm inclined to. Oh, and Scott, hey, welcome.
Hey, sorry I was late.
That's okay. We're looking at 2837 in core plans. I don't know if you've looked at it, but it seems pretty straightforward to me. It's a lot of little bug fixes and kind of quality of life changes that are fairly straightforward. You're muted.
Hey, I'm giving it a quick skim right now. So far, it looks, yeah, pretty good suggestions, quality of life kind of stuff.
Yeah. I'm inclined to just put this one in the backlog. It seems like pretty straightforward, and he's already working up PRs for some of these, so I would assume we might as well just start tracking it.
Yep, I'd agree.
All right. Cool. All right, let's go ahead and move on to core plans 2873. Gavin opened this one. I'm just going to throw it in the.
Yeah,
he's already merged that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the remainder in core plans are all related to the refresh work that we've got going on.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can just, I'll just toss those in the backlog.
Oh, great. Well, then in that case, we can probably consider this meeting complete for the week. I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. There we go. Yeah, so like I said, we'll have to figure out kind of what next week is going to look like, since this is the second to last day that Hangouts on Air is going to be available. And we'll let you all know, either on the forums or in Slack or both, maybe Twitter. Send some carrier pigeons out, something like that. Something modern, I'm thinking. So with that, thanks everybody for joining, and we'll see you all next week, maybe. Bye.